Alright, so in the last video we started talking about the program structure of a game, and we looked at micro worlds, and we saw the basic things we need to do were create the objects, write the and add the objects to the window, write the helper, the event handlers, and then we had to register the event handlers by putting them, either in the instruction slot in the button, or in the, let me stop this for a second, or in the rules tab in the turtle. So here we're registering a click handler and a touching handler. And we did that in each of these guys. So and then once the handlers are registered, then we have to do something to make everything start, which in this case was having everyone click on makes the action start. Okay, so let's take a look at doing something like that in Code Sculptor. So let's see, in Code Sculptor, let me see if I can find it. I had like a, so there's this basic template that I got when I took this course from Rice University. Let me see if I can find that site. So I think I mentioned this course before, but it's a course that I took in a programming course from Rice University, and they teach it's taught by the folks who developed Code Sculptor, and so one of the things that they provided was this basic template right here to make sure that you go through and do all the steps. And you see the first part they even did do for you. So I'll put this up on my site someplace. But the first thing they do is import Simple GUI. So again, if you don't import Simple GUI, you're not going to be able to do this, any of the game stuff, programming stuff, okay, that we're doing for this course. So first thing we do is import Simple GUI. All right. Then we define any global variables we're going to use. Well, let's think about. Okay, so I want to make a program. Basically, I want to make a real simple program. I'm just going to make a program that draws a circle and makes the circle move. That's the first thing I'm going to try and do. So to do that, I'm going to need X and Y positions for the circle. So actually, you know what I think I'll do is, before I even define the global variable for the circle, I'm going to define two global variables for the frame. I'm going to, because remember, you have to create your own frame in Code Sculptor. So I am going to say, actually for the canvas, I'm going to create the because the parameters that you give to the frame are for the canvas width and height. So the canvas width, I'm going to make that be, let's say, 300, and the canvas height, I'll make that 200. And then what I'll do is I'll start out with X and Y in the, I want the circle to start out in the middle of the canvas. So if I say X equal canvas width divided by 2, and Y equals canvas height divided by 2, then it'll start out in the middle of the canvas. If I, but I mean, I have to set it to start there, right? But that's the idea. So these are my global variables. I want to write some helper functions. So I need to update the position, the X and Y position, right? So let's say update pause. So I'm going to update the circle's position. And what I'll do to do that is I'll just say add 2 to X and add 1 to Y, let's say. And then, so that'll be my helper function. Then my event handler, I'm going to have a draw handler. So I'll say define draw handler. And remember that takes a canvas parameter as its input. And I want to draw a circle. So let's see, how do we draw a circle? Let's look in the docs. And it says, we go to graphics, we go to canvas, and we have draw text, which we used last time, draw a line, draw a polyline, polygon, draw a circle. Okay, so then there are these different parameters. So we see what the parameters are. There's a center point, and it looks like that's a tuple or a list. It looks like, yeah, the point is a 2-element tuple or list. That's the center point. So that's our X and Y, and you know, like in micro worlds, how you put brackets around X and Y for your pause. That's kind of what they're doing here. And then radius. That's how, you know, it tells you the radius of the circle. Line width is given in pixels and must be positive. So that's going to be the line going around the circle. Line color and fill color. Okay, and it says fill color equals none. That means, so basically what that means is if you don't give it a fill color, then it's not going to fill in the circle. It's just going to draw the line. But I kind of want line drawn in, so I'm just going to, let's see, I'm just going to copy this guy. Copy into, where was it? Here. Okay. So I'm going to paste that. Now this isn't exactly what I want because I want to update my position, right? So I'm going to say, so the first thing I want to do before I draw the circle, I'm going to update my pause, and then I'm going to actually I could make another helper function here. Define pause as return X comma Y. So that returns my tuple right here. So here I can just say pause. Okay. And this is kind of a thick line width. So I think I'm just going to make this be like 4, say. So this is going to have a green line around it with a width of 4, and it's going to be filled in with white, looks like, hopefully. And then okay, so then I'm going to update the position every single time we have a draw event. So remember I said that we have a new draw event. The draw handler gets fired. If we register it, the draw handler gets fired 60 times a second, right? 60 times a second, I think, something like that. So we're going to be redrawing every single time. So we'll see what that looks like. And then, so let's see what happens right now. If I just save this, if I hit enter, well, nothing at all happens because we haven't created our frame yet, right? So that's why we need to follow all the steps in here. So to create a frame, how do we do that? Let's see. Where do I have the docs in here? We look at frame. So to create a frame is simple GUI, create frame, with the title of the frame, the canvas width, the canvas height. Oh, and we can also set the width of the control panel if we want, but we don't have to. It's 200 by default. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. And let's paste that in. And this isn't exactly what I want. Let's say ball. And remember, we're going to use canvas width and canvas height here. So canvas width and canvas height. Oh, we forgot something right here, didn't we? So if you're changing the value of this X and this Y and stuff like that, this needs to be global. I think you can just say comma, put a comma, global X, Y for all your globals. And then let's see what happens now. Okay, so now we just have a blank frame, right? Because we haven't registered any of our event handlers. We haven't started anything up, right? So let's register the event handlers now. So how do we need to register the draw handler, right? So let's see here. Let's see, where do we set the draw handler? Key down, handler. Set draw handler. That looks pretty easy. Okay, so we just say set draw handler, draw handler. Okay, and paste that in. And actually, I'm kind of lucky because I named my draw handler, so I don't have to do any changes here. If this function was just called draw, I would have to make this draw, or if I called it handle draw, this would have to be handle draw. So this is the part where you're registering. This is the equivalent in microworlds of sticking something into the instruction section of a button or into the rules of a turtle, but you're actually making it's like you're setting up a rule for the canvas. You're telling the canvas every time you refresh yourself, every time you draw, call draw handler, and that'll tell you how to draw yourself. Okay, so that's that. Now we still don't have anything happening because we haven't started it. So we have to say, and if we had any timers, we would start the timers here too. Let's say frame.start, and let's play it, and yoink, and it disappeared into infinity, right? Because we didn't do any checking to see if it hit the edge. Okay, so actually, I think what I'll do is in the next video I'll do a little checking to make sure it hits the edge. But you can see what did happen though is that we kept changing the X and kept changing the Y, and you notice it goes, when it runs, it goes down and to the right. So the reason for that is that our coordinates on the canvas start at 0, 0 up here, and then as X gets bigger we go this way in the X direction, and as Y gets bigger we go down in this direction. So I was adding to my X and my Y, so I was going this way. Okay, so then next time we'll see what we can do about fixing the problem of hitting the edge.